What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Weekly Lure Lowdown. So this week I want to discuss the new Buckeye BFS jig. So this is a really cool jig, and we're going to get all into it. This is, this is a finesse jig. Again, we've all thrown finesse jigs for a very, very long time, but I kind of put this one into a category all to its own. And the reason, so one of the most important things you'll notice is we've got the spot remover jig head. So this has been around for ages and ages. We've all caught a million bass on the Buckeye stand-up head. And what we've done is just simply added a skirt, a really finessey small. These are the small silicone. It's got a lot of life, a lot of movement to it, and just downsized everything. So this is something new that we're seeing, particularly up north, the North Country there, smallmouth fishing. However, I've caught a ton of big spots and some big largemouth on this as well. This is a bait that's going to be great for getting a ton of bites, whether we're in the last hour, the last quarter of the tournament, and we need to fill the rest of our limit, or if we've just got the kids out fishing for a Sunday afternoon. This is going to be a bait that you can get a ton of bites and big bites on. So again, this bait comes in 1/8, 3/16, and 1/4 ounce. Really going to kind of cover your basis as far as rate of fall and what we're going to do there. So with our Buckeye stand-up head, again, it's very, very easy to get this bait to get that defensive posture and kind of stand up and show its aggression back towards the bass. But a couple of my favorite trailers to put on this is the new 2.5-inch covert crawl, as well as probably my favorite and what you've seen the majority of is our 3-inch Yamamoto floating Senko. So it's almost kind of like a little Ned jig, Ned rig jig, a lot of different names for it. But I encourage you to throw this in places that you would throw your bigger jig. Again, this is going to be a great kind of comeback jig. We've been through an area, we got a few bites, we need to turn around and try to generate a few extras, as well as the super tough flat calm conditions. They don't want that big beefy jig profile. And again, we're still somewhat presenting that, but in a very toned down, very finessey posture. So there are a lot of places that we can fish this jig, and really the sky's the limit as far as where we can access this little stand-up jig. But a couple of my favorite places, again, these little shallow points, bluff transitions. You can drift this thing out, in the river, much like we do, St. Lawrence and some of the northern fisheries. It's extremely versatile. I even caught them up at St. Clair back in Anchor Bay. I was snapping this out of that cabbage grass. You really couldn't see a lot of those fish, on forward facing. They would kind of be buried up in the cabbage, but I could snap this thing out of that cabbage grass, and it was really erratic. It created a big disturbance, so it would create enough commotion to draw their attention to kind of know that something's over there. But once they got there, all they had was this neat little cool package, and we caught a few in practice. They kind of got weird in the tournament with the pressure there, and I actually went down to the little shad-shaped worm. But again, this was a great way for me to cover a ton of water, in practice, snapping this thing around, generating a lot of attention, and really keying me into the areas that I needed to be. So the new Buckeye BFS spot remover jig has really become a big part of my arsenal. Again, when the conditions aren't really ideal for, moving baits, big gaudy, baits, when I need to finesse down and get really, really natural, that's when I'm going to go to this little BFS jig. And, as far as tackle and kind of what I'm throwing it on, you can absolutely throw it on a BFS setup. However, I really have leaned more heavily on a spinning rod. That 700 Cadence series has been a great one. You want something that you can cast a long way, and you can certainly do that with the BFS systems. However, at least with what I'm working with, I feel so outmatched. Fishing for a lot of money, I want to make sure when we get a bite that I can get that fish in the boat. And that 700 series Caden, I've just got so much confidence. When I hook one on that rod, I've got complete and full control. Even in an ultralight spinning rod, I can really turn her head and make her do what we need her to. So again, been a big player for me the latter part of the year here when fishing's gotten tough, and I'm sure that it will be for you too.